Hello everyone, this is Dr. Geeta Nayak Vislawat. Today's topic is the administrative thinker Kautilya. This topic is presented in BA first year, first semester public administration syllabus under Oriental Approach module. The topic is Kautilya. You all know who is Kautilya and what he did to political science and public administration. So, coming to next slide. Kautilya's Arthashastra is the agreement concerned with public administration and political science as much as it is with state administration, economy, and diplomacy. The Arthashastra contains or deals with state administration, economy, public administration, and diplomacy, foreign relations, so on. It is written with pragmatic aim of showing how government to run. The main purpose of writing this Arthashastra is to explain the elements of government and in what way it should be run. It offers deep insights to political state craftsmanship. Particularly, it explains the principles of administration and government machinery. Coming to next slide, here we are going to discuss the life of Kautilya and his works. Kautilya, we all know Kautilya has other names. Kautilya is also known as Vishnugupta and Chanakya. He is a famous professor at Takshashila University and later become Prime Minister of Mauryan Empire. It is believed that Arthashastra was compiled between 350 BC to 283 BC. But there is a dispute over the historical veracity of this book, and most of the authors think that this is not written in 350 BC. Like that, some rumors are there, some dispute is going on still. Meaning of Arthashastra. Artha means the livelihood or money, or it explains about the economy. The Arthashastra is thus science which deals with the acquisition and protection of the means of livelihood. It shows how this activity should be carried out. It is also an instrument of ensuring the well-being or development of human beings in general. So, the Arthashastra explains the importance of livelihood, importance of money, and how it is related to livelihood, and how it is related to development, why it is called as instrument of development for human being. And next slide, here objectives of Arthashastra. There are two objectives of Arthashastra. One is Palana and other one is Labha. Palana refers to the administration and protection of state. Palinchadam means ruling. Administration or protection of state comes under the objective of Arthashastra, one of the objective. And Labha refers to the conquest and acquisition of territory or gaining territory. Labhamu means gaining territory. Gaining something is called Labham. So, in that way, by conquest and by acquisition, conquest, the rulers or the kings in olden times acquired the territories or other lands, other countries' lands or other kings' lands. So, in this way, the objectives of Arthashastra are two. One is Palana, another one is Labha. So, here we are going to discuss how many parts Arthashastra is having and what are the parts. This Arthashastra is contained of 15 Adhikaranas or 15 books in which Arthashastra is divided. The books related to the pattern of public administration are the books which are related to the subject of public administration are considered four. They are first part, second part, fifth and sixth parts. The four parts are deals with the public administration. The first part is called Vinimaya. It explains the working of king, ministers, etc., and daily activities of them. The second one is Adhyaksha Prachara. It deals with the powers of states, construction of durgas, and so on. And the fifth one is Yoga Amrutam. Yoga Amrutam deals with the emergency conditions and salaries, etc. And last one is Mandala Yoni. Mandala Yoni explains about the Saptanga Siddhanta, the most famous Siddhanta of Kautilya's Ardhashastra. And Janapadas, courts, it deals about the economy, army, foreign affairs, so on. So these are all the things dealt by Ardhashastra. Next, the famous Saptanga theory. Saptanga theory, here Kautilya explained the 7 important persons who rule country, are 7 important prakritis, are 7 important organs of the country or state. They are Swamin or king, Amatya or mantri, Janapada, Durga, Kosha, Danda and Mitra. Uh, Coming to Swamin or the rule. Swami means the king. Here he explains the rules and regulations and powers of king. He gives extensive power to the king. And in olden days, king is attached an element of divinity to the element of divinity. Means he is considered as a god, or he is considered as the god's uh, son or nearest person. King's foremost duty is the protection of subject. Here, subject means people. King's important duty is to protect the people and their property. This is called Rakshana or Palana. Already, I explained in the earlier slide about Palana. So, protection is both natural from natural calamities and from anti-social elements. The king should ensure people's yogakshema or their protection. It is a broad term, implies the idea of welfare, well-being and happiness. Yogakshema considered as the welfare of the people, well-being of the people or development of the people and the happiness of the people. Ardhashastra states that in the happiness of the people lies the happiness of the king, and in what is beneficial to the people's lies in his own benefit. Means king's happiness comes from people's happiness. So what people are having is what people feel happy is that will feel happy to king also. Appointments to the most important officers were made by the king, and he often laid down broad outline of policy and issues codes of regulation, dharma niyama, for the guidance of his officers and the people. There will be dharma niyama. Olden days, dharma niyama or dharma niyamalu, they have to follow. People and officers has to follow. The important officials are appointed by king, and the policy making, king plays main role and in policy making. The duty of king is to take active part in wars, administration and justice. Next comes to Amatya or the minister. The important ministers mentioned in the Ardhashastra include, there are so many important ministers in Ardhashastra. They are the prime minister, the highest priest, the sacrificial priest, the teacher, the commander of the army, treasurer general, and the collector general. These are all some of the important uh, ministers of the kingdom. And the prime minister and the high priest are most important ministers. Those two persons are very much important for administration of country, and with one or two other, these two plus another two considered as inner cabinet. Another two are according to the wish of king. So nearly 4 or above 4 will be there in inner cabinet. It is this inner cabinet that assists the king to examine the characters of ministers, appointments in government departments, and other ministers' characters, appointments, everything dealt by this inner cabinet. There are many qualities of the higher priest describes in Ardhashastra. Next, Janapada. The citizens. Janapada means citizens. Citizens are not directly mentioned by Kautilya, but their existence can be understood in the reference to Janapada. With respect to population, Kautilya says that it should be prosperous enough to be access. The people, if people are there, according to olden days, 1/6 of the produce of any person should be given to king. So in this way, they are paying taxes. With those taxes, the kingdom will be run. The population should be loyal and should be habitually follow the orders of king. Regarding the territory, he says that it should have the best natural resources. Every kingdom should have best natural resources, then only it will be well developed. Neighboring states should not be allowed powerful. If neighboring state is powerful, then it will attack this state. So to avoid these attacks, neighboring state should not be allowed powerful. Next comes to Durga. Durga or fort. Durga is the symbol of defensive and offensive capacities of the state. It is important as the Janapada. Durga should be fortified totally. It should be contain all the facilities of the army. There are 4 types of Durga according to Kautilya. They are Adik. Adik means it is surrounded all the sides by the water. Parrot. Parrot means it is surrounded by hill or center of hill. Dhanvan. Dhanvan means it is the desert. The fort constructed in desert. And Vanadurga. This Vanadurga is situated in forest. The 4 types of Durgas he explained in his Arthashastra. Next, Kosha or treasurer. Kosha. The state treasury should be permanent source of revenue. Every amount or every tax paid by the persons or citizens must be recorded. There should be sufficient currency and valuable materials like gold. The money in the treasury should be collected by just means. There are 2 types of collections. One is they collect through ornaments, money, or other way they collect through grains. Treasury should be large enough to serve the state during emergencies. In emergencies, the treasury should be sufficient to feed persons or feed people. The king should be advised to take 1/6 of the produce. Already I told you 1/6 of the produce is payable by the persons. The produce is payable. Each gift given to the king is considered into the record book. They maintained a record book. In that record book, everything should be noted. And here Kautilya clearly explains that this treasure is not king's property. It is kingdom's property. Next, Danda or army. A contented army, according to Ardhashastra, is the king's success. The contented army, the systematic army, it will give success to the king, and the army should follow the commands of king. The army is to be well versed with military arts, be loyal and patriotic. Therefore, king should be catered to its needs properly. The army is most patriotic towards the kingdom. So, king should take care of the army. Kautilya considered Kshatriyas best suited for war. In olden days, as we all know, society is divided into four parts: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. So, Kshatriyas are most suitable for war activities. In case of any emergency, Kautilya says you can use Vaishyas and Shudras in war. Head of the defense department seems to be Senadipati or Sainyadhyakshudu. Next, Mitra or ally or friend. Mitra means friend. Maintenance of treasures, gaining of friends, issues of ultimation, breaking of treasures of peace, etc. are described in Arthashastra. These all the things. Agreements, maintenance, friends, making friendships, and breaking agreements, peace, etc. Everything is explained. The activities of state are explained clearly in Arthashastra. In times of need, allies are valuable to the rulers. Allies means friends. Rajulu, Leda Samanta Rajulu, Leda Mitrulu. So these are all the people are very much useful at the time of war. Allies should be made on permanent base. The friendship should be made on permanent relations. They should be chosen as friends with the lowest break of relations exist. The ally is the ruler of another state and therefore does not form part of another state's internal organization. If ally or friendship is the king of other state, then also um, the king should not be a part of other state organization. So Ardhashastra explains about the king's importance and his friend's importance. According to the Arthashastra, nature of the state is expected to be one of the total anarchy in which might was right. Arthashastra was right. It follows Matsyanyaya. That is, Matsyanyaya means the bigger fish swallows the smaller one. It was settled that king should receive 1/6 of the grain and 1/10 of the merchandise and gold as is due. So the king should get 1/6 of the grain or 1/10 of the trade. With this revenue, the king should ensure the prosperity and security to the people. Therefore, no explicit mention of social contract theory in Arthashastra. So, the kings are based on Matsyanaya. The bigger king swallows the smaller kings and occupies the smaller king's kingdom. And the taxes are in the form of grain or merchandise. The taxes, 1/6 of the produce, the farmers has to pay the king, and other merchandise or traders has to give 1/10 of their profits to king. And with this revenue, the country should run and people should be satisfied. um, there is no social contract theory in Arthashastra. The principles of public administration. The principles of public administration are two sets here. The first set is principle of authority, obedience, and discipline. Principle of authority, obedience, and discipline. And principle of duty and interest. Principle of responsibility. These all the principles comes under first set of public administration principles according to Arthashastra. This set of principles embodies the essential attributes to the state. It explains the essential attributes or essential systems of the state. The second set of principles are principle of division of labor, principle of separation, principle of speciality, principle of coordination, principle of hierarchy, or principle of equality. These set of principles govern the actual method of work of administration. The earlier set of principles explains the attributes of the state, duties of the states, and second set explains the working culture of the state or administration of the state. So these two are the principles of the Arthashastra according to the principles of public administration according to the Arthashastra. Next comes to elements of administration. In his book Kautilya identified 5 elements of administration. They are the means of starting understanding, the excellence of men and material, appointment of place and time, provision against failure, accomplishment of work. The first concern of king is his own personal safety. So for safety, obedience and his authority on the part of people. So every person or any higher official is immune from detection by spies. So any higher person is if king gets any doubt, he can keep spies for watching. And the unity of command and direction is maintained because of king's authority. All the members of bureaucracy derived from their authority from the king. So authority of bureaucracy is comes from king. The purpose of danda or the purpose of army, the symbol of authority, is to make people devoted to righteous and to work productive, product, productive of wealth and enjoyment. The danda or the authority always seeks for the development of wealth and enjoyment. Authority is obeyed by the people on the account of sanctions behind orders and positions. The people always uh, mm, welcome the sanctions of authority uh, according to the situations. On the king's demise, Kautilya does not favor uh, usurpation of royal power by the minister. So if king dies, Kautilya always he attaches much importance to the stability of royal command. So he always thought of stable kingdom and stable kingship. So if king dies, there should be Rajakumara, princess, who has to take the king's place. Next, nature of duties. Ardhashastra states that an administrator should possess the knowledge of the science of public administration. King should know, or king should well versatile with the science of public administration. An administrator can be adept in the art of public administration only if he is conversant with the science of public administration. The proficiency in the science of public administration is entrusted in almost all important dignitaries in the government, such as the king, the priest, the prince, and the ministers. Everyone should know the science of public administration. Kautilya states that whoever is not well versatile in science should be unfit to hear the council deliberations or council meetings. According to him, an erring king who is against science distracts himself and his kingdom by maladministration. The king who is unknown about the principles of administration, he can be uh, the kingdom may be maladministered. Therefore, Kautilya insisted the prince to study the science of Varta or economics under government superintendent and the science of Dandanitri, the science of government under the theoretical and practical politicians. So, always the king and the prince should know the science of administration for well-being of the subjects or persons in the country. Missionary of government. The second Adhikarana or the second book of Ardhashastra entitled The Duties of Government Superintendents deals with the departments. Some of officers mentioned in the Ardhashastra are directly under the king, while others are controlled by the king through higher officials. The ministers are selected, not elected. They are selected by the king, not elected, on the basis of their qualities. The so-called ministers, in reality, the highest officers, are directly under the control of king. They are directly under the control of king, and they have to follow the rules of king and they have to obey the instructions of the king. They are individually and collectively responsible to the king. The minister officials pertaining to the subjects or people deals with the administration of the persons. The division of departments is done according to the services required by the people and discharges by the government. Next comes to important officers of the state. There are 18 important officers in the state. They are Mantrin. Mantrin is called counselor or minister. Purohita is the priest. Senapati, commander of the army. Yuvaraja, prince. Uh, Dwarika, chief of palace attendants. Antarvamshika, chief of king's guards. Prasthastra, magistrate. Samharta, collector general. Samnirta, chief treasurer. And next, Pradeshtra, commissioner. Nayak, town guard. Paur, chief of the town. Karmanta, superintendent of mines. Mantrin Parishad, Adhyaksha, chief of council of ministers. Dandapala, officer of the army department. Durgapala, guardian of the forts. Antapala, office in charge and boundaries. Ativahika, office in charge, forest. These are all the 18 um, important departments and 18 important officers of the king at that time or kingdom at that time. Next comes to financial administration. This financial administration here, three types of officers are available in financial department. The first one is the collector general. He is minister level officer. He is in charge of revenue collection. The second one is treasurer general. He is also minister level employee and he is in charge of treasury. First one is in charge of revenue collection. Second one is in charge of treasury, consistence of treasurer house, trading house, storehouse of grains, storehouse of forest produce, armory and jail. The third one is superintendent of accounts. He is a below ministerial level officer. He seems to be under the collector general. There are three finance administration contains three employees, main employees or officers. The first one, collector general. He is the revenue in charge. The second one is treasurer general. Treasury is contains two parts. One is mercantile and another one is contains of grain, etc. So he's consists of treasurer house, trading house, storehouse of grain, or example FCI godown like that, and storehouse of forest produce and jails. The last one is superintendent of accounts. He is the fellow ministerial officer. He is associated with collector general. So next comes to home department. This home department contains prime minister, doorkeeper, superintendent of harem. All are ministerial level officers. The superintendent of country parts, the superintendent of country parts and the superintendent of boundaries are belonging to next order below the minister mentioned below. Both look after defense affairs. The collector general, like the district collector under the British regime, also discharges the magisterial functions. So next comes to justice. Here it is according to Ardhashastra, the administrative courts consist of three persons proficients in Dharma Shastra. Every court is consist of three persons. They are well versatile or well knowledgeable persons in Dharma Shastra, and three minister officers in the administration of law. Dharma Shastra and administration of law. There is a hierarchy of courts from court of group of 10 villages to the king's court. Just like nowadays, we are having district courts, municipal courts, next comes to high courts, supreme courts, so on. So in this way, at that time also, the hierarchy of courts is present. For the lower level court is contained with 10 villages and the highest level court is king's court. Whether the king personally or chief justice preside over the Supreme Court is not clear. There is a dispute between king and Supreme Court who is powerful in just taking decisions at Supreme Court. Cases regarding slave traffic falls within the jurisdiction of court of law. So trafficking, slaves matters, all the matters related to slaves are dealt with court of law. So next comes to relationship between the organs of the state. We all know there are some organs, legislative, judiciary, and administrative organs are there. The relations between organs of the state, according to Ardhashastra, there was no legislature as such. Nowadays, we are in modern times. We are divided administration or divided state into three parts. But they at that time there is no legislator as such. The body hardly resembles legislature is the council of state. The legislature is called council of state, or the lower part of it, or the concised part of his inner cabinet. The ministers are included in the body. The ministers, I already explained in the earlier slides who are the ministers. Those ministers are the members of this council of state. In an emergency, its meeting is to be held and decisions are taken by majority. The majority minority ways are taking the decisions. If majority people supports some decision, that will go away. The question whether the council of states has the power to judge the policies and actions of ministers was not discussed in Arthashastra. The body of minister is not elected and responsible to the council of state. Their responsibility, collective and individual, is towards the king as the supreme executive. So the ministers and the other officials totally under the rule of, are under the instructions of king. So king is the supreme executive. Judges are uh, judges are not independent of the executive. They are appointed by the king. So the judges are appointed by the king. They are controlled and removed from the work if found injustice and corrupt by the collector general. The punishing agency is collector general. If the judge is found injustice or corrupt, then collector general will remove him. And the administration, in the administration of justice, they are not independent. They are not independent of influence of executive, because ministerial officers sit jointly with persons well versed in Dharma Shastra as judges. So the persons are well versed in Dharma Shastra. Uh, so government servants do not seem to come within the purview of court of law if they violate rules in administration. For breach of law in their private conduct, they can of course be tried by the court of law. So government servants are not in the purview of court of law. If they found something guilty or some corruption, they will be removed according to the orders of the king. So next comes to last conclusion. Kautilya's Arthashastra offers deep insights into political statecraft, particularly the principles of public administration, machinery of government, the economic policies, public policies, governance, military strategies, uh, uh, foreign trade, and personal management, military strength, everything. The Kardashastra discussed all the important divisions of state, and yet Kautilya made no serious attempt at theory building. At best, he described the empirical reality and normative in his treatment. In spite of this, the Arthashastra has many insights and lessons to offer even to the present day students and practitioners of public administration. Yes, rightly said, the Arthashastra still today we are following the same rules and regulations, the military, the economic policies, the principles of administration, the ruling of prime minister and cabinet system, inner cabinet, and we are also following judiciary, finance department, relations with the legislative, administrative and judiciary, the justice, and everything we are following. Still we are following some of the main important principles of Ardhashastra in 21st century. So it has relevance till today. For any doubts or for any doubts, you please call 9849373729. Thank you.